Hey guys, welcome to another video. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we are doing a speed build over in Willow Creek in The Sims 4, and this is a 30 by 20 lot. You can see the specific lot name up in the top left hand corner if you're interested, and this is a classic blue Suburban. I do these often. I feel like it's been a few builds since I've done one, so I wanted to do one again. It's a little bit differently shaped than I normally do it. I have the front door all the way on the side, which I thought was pretty interesting. But this ended up being a total of 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and I furnished it for a family of 5. You could easily fit one more bedroom upstairs. It will just have its own personal balcony. That is where I ended up putting a little office nook. But yeah, like I said, if you need to squeeze one more bedroom in here, you definitely could find a spot for that. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you do, please don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. And share this video with your friends if they are Simmers as well. And don't forget to leave your favorite part of today's build down in the comments below. I appreciate you guys so much more than you would ever know. So today's build is, I guess, considered a limited pack build, considering how many packs we have nowadays. I chose a total of like 5, give or take, and I just chose random ones, and I uninstalled every single other pack that I have in my game, and so I am only using those packs. Well, it's actually a total of 6, but they are Growing Together, High School Years, Cats and Dogs, Parenthood, toddler stuff, and kids room stuff. And I do have a couple of the makers packs installed. They are the Spendy Dining Room and the Reader's Nook, which are a couple of my favorites. And you guys may or may not have noticed a little bit of a theme there. I chose all of the packs that I thought would be perfect for a family style build, and I had a lot of fun building with those packs. All of the family style packs are always my favorites to use in game, whether it's building, create a sim, or just playing the actual gameplay. I love family style storytelling. It is what made me originally fall in love with The Sims way back when The Sims 2 first came out. So we have a pretty good start on the outside of our build. I wanted to do something different than I usually do as far as the architecture goes, and I seen an inspiration picture that looked similar but not exact to this house, and it had a front door all the way on the edge of the house, like the far right or left side, I can't remember at this time. But I decided to put it on the right side of this house because we have that like canal on the right side of the house, and so I knew I was going to want to put a sidewalk leading to the backyard on that side. I just thought it made a lot of sense, and it would be really pretty to walk from the front yard to the backyard and see that canal right there. And I usually do terrain paint to lead to the backyard, but I decided to use a curved platform to make a curved sidewalk and just have an actual sidewalk leading from the front to the back of the house. I thought that gave it a lot of really good detail, and that is very different than what I usually do. I have done that before in the past, like it's not brand new, but it's not typical of me. I always just do terrain paint or even the garden path stones. Using an actual sidewalk like this doesn't always look right. It's kind of hard to pull off most of the time, but it just fit the look of this house, especially where the front door was. And you have that little single tile wide area in between the sidewalk and the house that was perfect to be able to fit a hedgerow bush, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever, and it looked pretty realistic too. It reminds me of my front door. I don't have it leading to the side of the house, even though I would love to add that eventually, but leading from my driveway to my front door, there is a little, like, very small, almost like a single tile wide space like you see here that is for adding plants, some sort of landscaping. And so it just reminds me of like houses in real life, which I love adding realistic things here in my builds. You guys probably know that by now if you are a returning viewer. You know that I love realistic things here in The Sims as much as possible anyways. I know it cannot be fully realistic, but just adding little touches like that, I really, really love. Another thing on the architecture of this build, in the front and the back, although you can't see it in the back yet, I'm just now starting on the back of the house, but another detail that I don't do a lot of, like I've done it before, but not a lot, is having a pop out on the top floor that overhangs over the bottom floor. I feel like that's another thing that's kind of hard to pull off, but if you're able to, then it looks really, really nice. And I love to add corbels underneath the overhang so it looks like it's supporting the overhang. I feel like that's what those are really made for. I usually put them at the very top of my roof eaves, but I think they're really made for supporting structure like that. And so it's so much fun when you're actually able to use what those are intended for. And yes, I did have to look that up in game, by the way. I have no idea, at least I didn't have any idea what the name of those little pieces were. And so I finally thought to look at it in game because I couldn't describe it otherwise, to be honest. And when I seen the name was Corbel, I was like, I literally never would have guessed that. These things, those things that I just put underneath that pop out area, those are called Corbels. I mean, you guys probably knew that because, you know, you're probably smarter than me. I'm just joking, guys. I'm smart, I promise. But I had literally no idea. And like I said, I was not really shocked, but it definitely was not my first guess. I would have called it a spandrel, to be totally honest, which I know that's not a spandrel. The spandrel goes around like porches and stuff, but that is kind of what it reminds me of, is the very edge of a spandrel. It's always nice to learn something new, which you do learn something new every day. Like, that literally is a true statement. You're never too old to learn more. And the moment you think otherwise is when you'll stop learning anything, and then you'll be dumb for the rest of your life. Just joking. Just joking. Maybe. Anyways, that is basically it on the unique features on the outside of our house. I told you there was a couple. I didn't tell you how many, and so there is a couple. It's just a couple. It's not a lot, but it's something. It's nice to change it up a little bit. And we're working on the pool area now. I just love having a sidewalk leading from the front to the back of the house on the side right there. I just think it makes the backyard look so nice and really thought about and well designed by the people that live here, you know? Like, if I seen that in real life, it really looks like a real life pool area to me, and I really love that. And I'm using the hedgerow bushes not in the front yard. I have just the regular hedgerow bushes in the front yard, but as soon as you walk into the backyard, specifically by the pool area, I don't think I use them. Yeah, I don't use them on the actual grassy part of the yard, but the pool area, I'm using the hedgerow bushes with the fairy lights on top that we got in a base game update like a couple years ago. I just think that adds such a nice detail, especially when you're hanging out there at night. It looks so pretty with the little itty bitty sparkles on those hedgerow bushes. Just so cute. And then I have those yellow hedgerow bushes all around the pool area. Not all around it, but on both sides in the little planter box areas. And I have that cats and dogs umbrella table. It's like a picnic table with an umbrella on top. I think it's so cute. It fits perfectly in a lot of my builds for some reason. The shape of it is really nice. It's easier to fit that one than it is to fit the circular ones, to be honest. And then I have a grill next to it. We will furnish the grassy area in the backyard later in the build after I'm done furnishing the inside of the house. I'm taking a break from the outside and I'm now starting on the floor plan inside, which, if I do say so, the floor plan in this house turned out really, really interesting, and I love that. I love making use of the platforms in my builds. So I have the staircase all the way on the left side of the house, which is far away from the front door. I usually always put it by the front door, so that was a really nice change. And I have an L-shaped staircase, so that was really fun as well. And I usually leave the staircase area open and then I put some railing on the staircase. But in this case, I ended up surrounding the staircase with nothing but wall. And I thought that was fun too. I guess I'm doing a lot more than I thought in this build that is different than what I usually do, so that is really fun. But I do love building with platforms here in The Sims 4, and this build is no different. I'm not always able to do platforms in my builds because of the way the floor plan is, but this floor plan, the way I designed it, just made it absolutely perfect to fit some platforms. So when you first walk in, there's like a foyer area that leads to the dining room, and then there is a step up using the platform, and that's a hallway. It leads to a bathroom, the staircase, the kitchen on one side, and then the living room on the other side. And the living room is up on another platform. I absolutely love making like a double platform area like that. I just think it gives so much detail and just looks really, really good. And it's fun to do it gameplay wise too. It kind of sucks because your sim kind of like stops before they get up on the platform. It's not like the staircase where they just flawlessly walk up the stairs. They have to kind of like think about it for a quick second before they walk up the platform, but that's fine. I can get over that, so hopefully you guys can too. If it looks nice, I'm able to get over it. Now, as far as the bedrooms go, we have the majority of the bedrooms upstairs, and we have one additional bedroom downstairs. Unfortunately, just like the last couple of my builds, for some reason, the floor plan just did not allow for the master to be downstairs, which I'm not a huge fan of. I love the master to be downstairs and not upstairs, but it is what it is sometimes. So we have the master with the master bathroom upstairs, and then we have the additional 2 bedrooms upstairs and then 1 more downstairs. And then we have 2 bathrooms upstairs. One's for the master, the other one is for like the kids to share. So I made it more of a kid's bathroom. You'll see that with the decorations that I end up putting in there. And then there's 2 bathrooms downstairs. One is a half bath for like guests and stuff, and then the other one is a full bath for the other kids to use. So the kids have 2 bathrooms to share, the parents have 1. And then there's a half bath if you have to use that. I am now starting on the kitchen, and the kitchen is relatively small, but surprisingly I was able to fit a couple of the island counters in the center so that I could put the sink there. The windows, how they're placed with the countertops and the size of the room, it didn't make it to where I could put the sink perfectly in the center of the window, and I really dislike that. It's my slight OCD kicking in. If the sink is off to the side when there's a perfectly even window right there, it drives me crazy. But for some reason I can put it on the side of an island like I did here. It just makes more sense to me than having like a straight window with the sink off to one side. Something about it just aggravates me. So I was able to fit an island in here, and I did have to maneuver some things around for it to be functional, but it is 100% functional now, what's up on the gallery. And so you don't have to worry about that. The way that the kitchen came out almost reminds me of like a galley style kitchen, but it does have like a U-shaped counter all around the wall, which usually a galley style kitchen only has counters on like the wall on both sides and then not on the far left or right side. It's just like straight even counters, but this is kind of similar, just not exactly a galley style. And then of course with the island in the center, I do not add chairs. The chairs did not fit. I really just did that for looks and for the sink, like I was saying a minute ago. But I'm using one of my favorite counters in the game. It comes from Parenthood. I think these counters are just so cute, especially for suburban style builds. And this particular swatch is definitely my favorite. I love the white marble or granite looking countertop. And then the cabinets itself is like a medium brown wood, which is my favorite color in The Sims as far as like wood goes. And I also love the upper cabinets in this set. I think it's just so cute. I love the end pieces that have different clutter items on the shelves, and each end piece has different clutter items, which is really nice. One has like plates and bowls maybe, and then the other one has like spices and stuff. So a common detail you'll see in this build is the fact that I made it very colorful. I use a lot of blues and yellows which hence why I called it a sunny Suburban, because of all of the yellow that's in it. I just feel like it makes it so happy and cheerful and like a sunny vibe, you know? But I also use hints of other colors, just like here in the kitchen is the perfect example of it. I have some greens, especially throughout the kitchen, and some reds here and there, not a lot, maybe some pinks here and there as well, but blue, yellow, and then green are definitely the main colors in the kitchen, and I just think this kitchen turned out so cute. I have a blue microwave and a blue coffee maker, and one thing I thought was super cute and realistic is the fact that I grabbed a little sponge from the Debug catalog and I put it right by the kitchen sink, and I also have a little like soap dispenser there too. I love that detail. I mean, who doesn't have a sponge and soap dispenser at their kitchen sink, right? So it was only pink, unfortunately, but it is, you know, a colorful kitchen, so I guess it works. And the sponge is shaped like a freezer bunny, which I think is super, super cute. Another thing about the kitchen that I really like is the fact that I added the bread box from Parenthood, and I chose the swatch that looks like it's been, you know, painted on or colored on by probably the kids in the house. I just think that's such a cute detail for family builds. And I mean, that is about it as far as the kitchen goes. The whole thing came out pretty cute, but those are like my favorite details about that kitchen. I went ahead and furnished the half bathroom super quick. Those are always so easy to do. I just have a toilet and a sink in there, and I was also able to fit one of those like bathroom cabinet shelf sort of things in the corner because it was just empty and I had to think of something to put there, and that was the only thing I could think of, to be totally honest. But I do think it turned out super cute. I made that half bathroom colorful as well. Just like the rest of this house, this whole house is a very colorful house, which I do love making my family builds on the colorful side. It just makes it feel like a lot of kids live here, and the parents really try to make their house super like fun and cheerful for their kids. I don't know, I just think it makes sense. But we are starting on the living room now, and I'm using these couches again, guys. I can't stop myself at this point. I think I actually made this house like right when I got these couches. I've had this house in my storage like builds for a minute, and so I totally forgot that I used them in this build, but it is what it is. I do know the name of the kit finally because I told you all of the packs that I used earlier in the build. So the kit this is from is called the Reader's Nook, so it's almost like Book Nook, but it's Reader's Nook instead. But like I said, the main reason I got that maker's kit to begin with is because of these couches and the fact that it's a complete set. So I had someone comment on my last video saying that those maker's kits are this one and another one, I think they said. Or it was two completely different ones. I can't remember, to be honest. But they said there's a couple of them that I've been using that doesn't exist. I know for a fact the dining room is one of them. But apparently they're no longer on the marketplace, but I think that they said the creator has them on like their own specific profile somewhere. So yeah, let me know if you guys know anything about that. Like, what is the detail on that? Did they drop out of the maker's kits or the marketplace themselves? Or what happened with that? Because I'm kind of curious. But nonetheless, I have been using them in the most recent builds of mine, and I may or may not use them in the future. I do really like them, so like I said, I may or may not use them. But at least if I do use them, if you download this on the gallery, it will just be replaced with probably base game items that look similar. So yeah, I'll try not to make a habit out of it, but I just have to get it out of my system. And then I probably won't use all of these items as much. But the dining room one really came in handy when I furnished this part of the build. Like, this front foyer is a little bit on the large side, so I was a little bit concerned how I was gonna make that work. But luckily these items are pretty bulky, so I found a way to make it work and make it feel really filled up and I think it turned out really cute. And same with the dining room. I absolutely love that dining table set. This is the first time I'm using these chairs. I usually use the other ones. It gives it more of like a homey feel. It's like wooden. I just wish there was a couple that was like wooden but had some cute seat covers on top, like the seat pads that tie in the back. That would have been a super cute addition. But these I like. They're not my favorite though. There's something about them that I just don't like that much. They look kind of uncomfortable. Like the backs of them don't look like they go up enough to me, but luckily we don't have to sit there. But at the foyer, when you first walk in the front door, I was happy I thought about adding that additional wall piece there. I think it made the foyer look better as well as the dining room, and it really separated the two rooms a lot better. And then I found that little ottoman from Parenthood, I believe. Or no, I think it's actually from Kids Room Stuff. And the color matched perfectly. It matched too good not to use. And that's actually one of my favorite ottomans in the game, believe it or not. I really love the shape of it, and I love the shelving it has on the bottom. That swatch is really the only one I like though. A lot of them are too colorful. I know this is a colorful build, but there's a fine line between cute colorful and just tacky, and a lot of them are tacky, but that's because it's from the Kids Room Stuff, so of course it's gonna be colorful and a little bit on the tacky side. And then above the ottoman, I put the mirrors. I do that a lot with the 3 like super skinny long mirrors. I think it makes it look like a complete mirror set, and it just looks really nice. And I'm almost done with this bathroom. This is the additional bathroom for the kids and teens to use, and I just added a stand-up shower in there. The one upstairs, I ended up putting just a bathtub and not like a shower tub combo, so you have one of each in both of the bathrooms, which is perfect. I love to do the shower tub combo, but for this build, I couldn't make it work in either one of them, and it's mainly because of the window placement. And once I place the windows and I have it looking good on the outside, I do not move them on the inside because for some reason, I just think it makes more sense to make it look good on the outside, which I know is probably a different opinion than the majority of people, but I can always make it work somehow. One way or another, I can make it work inside, but if it just looks weird outside, then I feel like it kind of ruins the entire build for me. So we are now upstairs working on the parents' room, and this bed is from Growing Together, and I do not use this bed very often, and I don't know why, because it is super cute. I absolutely love this swatch that I'm using here. I love the reds and like the pink pillows, the red like floral pillow in the back, and then the red blanket on the like edge of the bed. I just think it looks so cute together, and then it has like the brown bedspread. It just looks so cute. And then I have the dresser from those makers kits, as well as that little bookshelf. I put a laundry hamper, but the non-functional one from base game, because there is not a washer and dryer in this build. I didn't have laundry day installed, or else I probably would have added it. I just love the washer and dryers. I know that it can be buggy to play with, but it's easy to work around the bugs, at least. I think it adds a really fun touch. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I have a lot of people tell me they don't like it because like they do laundry enough in real life, but it's different in this. It's easier to do in The Sims, let's be honest. And then I put just like a chair for decoration. Everything else in the parents' room is basically for decoration. It's pretty self-explanatory. We are now working on the master bathroom, and I was able to fit a shower tub combo in here at the very least, so I could have it somewhere in the house. And I also added a litter box in that bathroom, which I know is interesting, but honestly, that's the best place to put a litter box in The Sims if you don't have like an extra spare bedroom to put it in, or a garage. And I thought the bright yellow litter box was super cute in there. It really brightened up the whole bathroom. I also feel like having the litter box right next to the toilet would make it easier to train the cat to use the toilet. At least in real life. Obviously in The Sims it doesn't really make a difference, but I actually knew someone that I didn't witness it myself, so you know, take this with a grain of salt because I did, but Apparently, she used to have a cat that she trained to use the toilet. I know it's possible, but I've never witnessed it with my own eyes. And honestly, that's something I've always wanted to see. Is seeing a cat like literally use the toilet and then flush it somehow. That would be so cool. Obviously, I'm easily impressed, but she did tell me how she did it, which does make sense. It just takes a lot of patience, and it just seems to, I don't know, I guess changing the litter box anyways is kind of gross, but this just seems even worse. But she said that you put like a garbage bag or something in the toilet. Somehow you make the water not be in there, like you untie it to the water or something. And so you put the garbage bag in the toilet so it doesn't go down the drain. And then you put the litter on top of the trash bag. Cats are kind of naturally drawn to litter, so it makes sense. And she said that it started using it, and then you do that for a while, then eventually you remove the litter and it just goes to the bathroom in there. I don't know. Who knows? It kind of makes sense to me. I do remember her saying that it never flushed it, so she would have to flush it, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool. I don't know if it was true, okay, but it does make sense. So I am pretty much done with the teens room. I have the high school years bed set in there, and I use that super cute room divider from high school years just because I thought it was cute. It really doesn't make sense because there's holes in it so you can see past it, but it's super cute. There's little pictures and stuff on it and fairy lights throughout the branches. And on one side I have the dresser and mirror and stuff where she probably gets ready. The other side I have a little computer desk, and it looks like it's been drawn on. That is from Parenthood. So I figured that teenager was really into art. She also does cheerleading on the side, hence why I put some pom-poms on the wall, but she's really into art. That's what she wants to major in when she goes to university. So I have an easel in there, as well as that computer desk that looks drawn on, and a lot of different artwork on her walls that looks like she probably drew herself. Specifically the trees with the little leaves on it. It looks like she painted that on the wall herself. At least that's what I like to think, and I think that's super cute. I mean, what teenager, especially an artsy teenager, doesn't like to draw or paint on their walls? It just makes sense. Or fill it up with posters or drawings that they did. So we are furnishing the last bathroom now. This is the one that has just the tub, and like I said earlier, I decorated it specifically for the kids. Like maybe the teenager uses the one downstairs and that's her specific bathroom, and then the kids and infant, even though the infant's downstairs, but that's fine. The kids and infant, they use the bathroom up here with just the tub. So there's a couple of bath toys I put on top of the bathtub, which I thought was an adorable touch and definitely makes sense for a family build. And then I put a clock on the wall that's super colorful from kids room stuff, and I used that rug from high school years that has like the candy swatch, and I put a little toddler potty in there and just tried to make it look obvious that it was for kids. And that is about it for the bathroom. We are now working on the kids room, and I thought this kids room turned out so stinking cute, and I don't use that bed from kids room stuff often, and I definitely don't use these colors often, like the blue and the orange together. It reminds me of the Gators, which could be a Florida thing, but that's what it reminds me of. I use that super cute spaceship light from kids room stuff also. The curtains are from Base Game. They're blue and yellow, but there's a little bit of yellow in that bedspread as well, so I thought it made sense and matched a good bit, at least enough. It's a kid's room, so it's fine if it doesn't match completely. And the dresser is also from kids room, and it has pictures on the dresser as well, which I think is adorable. I always love that little detail in The Sims. It makes it feel more personal and like there's actual Sims with personalities living here. And There's also a mirror from Lovestruck that has little pictures all around the mirror. I love that too. I just love that detail. So I thought this kid was super into like space and loves to raise and work on their mental skills. So I have a mental table in there. I also included a little diary that they like to write in, maybe after school or just before bed, to write about their day. I do end up including a monkey bar set outside just so that they're able to raise their motor skill, but they spend a lot of their time working on their mental table inside, creating different science projects and stuff like that, different potions, and they absolutely love to give their older sister the stink potion. And just, you know, just being a little sibling trying to taunt their older sibling. And that's it for the kids' room. I went ahead and got that little office nook done as well. I just put a computer desk with a computer and a little bit of a chair with a couple of different cat items. I put the scratching post, I put that big cat tree off in the corner by the parents' room, and then a couple of different like toys. And that's about it. And then the balcony outside, I just put a telescope. I made it easy, but the patio downstairs, the little porch that's there, I put a couple of chairs for them to be able to sit and maybe watch the kids swim or play outside or just hang out and have a good conversation. And I almost forgot to do the infants room down here. If I leave something for later, specifically like one little area in a certain part of the house, like down here, this one last room, I almost forget about it more times than not, but luckily I remembered, and I'm just adding everything an infant needs. I have a crib, I have the changing table, I have a little toy box, I added that cute little teddy bear chair, and I just thought it was so cute. It made sense because I have that little teddy bear rug, and that's really about it. I also added some blocks, I believe, and then in the living room, I added a little grabby mat thing. So everything the infant needs is in this house. I do not think I remembered to add a high chair though. I could be wrong, but I really don't think I did. So you'll just have to add that if you do download this. And that is it as far as the inside furnishings go. We are now finishing up the outside. I'm working on the front porch. I have this cute bench from Cats and Dogs, and I just placed some different base game pillows on there, and I did kind of like a blue and yellow sort of thing, and I put a blue, a yellow, blue, and yellow. I don't know, it's kind of different than what I usually do. And then I just have a little table next to it with a plant on top. I usually like to add a citronella next to my outside tables, but I do not have that pack installed. I'm pretty sure it is from Backyard Stuff. And if I had it installed, I definitely would have placed it there on that table. I love that little addition. It makes it feel more realistic. So we are now finishing up the backyard area, and I added this back gate that leads to an additional area off the lot. I cannot remember what's there. I want to say it's a little bit of like a neighborhood park, but don't quote me on that. I know there's something though, and there's a little pathway that leads behind the house. So I just thought it was a super cute addition to have a back gate there and paint some terrain paint, making it look like the Sims go out there frequently. I just love that little idea. And like I said earlier, I do place that monkey bar set, and that's really honestly about it for the backyard. I just add some terrain paint out there in just a moment. And I'm now just placing the last minute landscaping. I love these super big bushy yellow flowers. I just think they're so pretty, and I use them a lot, but I've been trying my best not to use them too much lately. I feel like I've done good trying to expand my landscaping a little bit, but sometimes I just have to do it. And I have a fence in the front. I love this fence from Toddler Stuff. I think it's super adorable, and I have some landscaping just spread out in front of it, which is a super cute touch, and it makes it to where you can actually see the fence, and it's not just covering the fence, which makes the fence, you know, not make any sense if you can't see it. But a couple of months ago, maybe like 3 or 4 at this point, I think. I first seen Simlessy do a video where she placed the landscaping in front of the fence that way, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever, so I started doing it ever since then. And I felt the need to say that just, you know, to give her credit since I did see it from somebody else. And I did have the trash cans in the front of the house by the mailbox, but since I decided to put the plants in front of the fence where I originally had the trash cans, I ended up putting them in the backyard area, like outside of the back gate, which also makes sense as to why there's a back gate there, and it's not just because of the back area, there's also trash cans out there. So I really like that addition too. And the final touch in the backyard, I ended up adding some fairy lights all around the pool area. I love to do that when I have toddler stuff installed, and I do with this build, so I had to take advantage of it. I just think it is so cute and makes me want to add some fairy lights around my fence in real life, but I know it's a lot more work in real life than it is in The Sims, so we shall see. At the very least, I can add it in my porch area, you know? And last but not least, we are just doing the last minute terrain paint, which is exactly what I usually do, the dying grass layered with the garden soil. That is like the best I've found to do the terrain paint. I'm not very creative when it comes to terrain paint, but at least I do 2 layers. It's better than 1. But we have officially reached the end of today's speed build. I had so much fun today, and I really hope you guys did as well. Of course, if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already, and share this video with your friends if they are simmers as well, and if you think that they would enjoy this video. This is available to download on my gallery, which is always linked down in the description box, and don't forget to add your favorite part of today's build down in the comments below. I hope you all have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one very soon. Bye guys!